everybody. Welcome back to the Royal Read. I am so glad you decided to stop by and see what I am reading on today. But before we get started, look right down here. It is so much going on down here. We have the join button now. Yes, we do. And our membership is called the Reading Club. And if you want to see this channel grow, you want to see this channel improve, and you want to support this channel, think about joining the reading club and hitting that join button. I would appreciate it so much. And while you're down here, look into your settings and find the subscribe button and subscribe. And while you're in there, make sure you hit the notification bell. To me, that is really important. So you'll know when I decide to upload or just pop up. And give me a thumbs up to fight my nemesis, that beast of an algorithm. I really would appreciate it. All right, let's get into this really quick read. This read is me being messy because it doesn't have anything to do with Harry and Meghan. But it does have something to do with the two people I love to drag. Everybody knows who has been on this channel anytime knows that my number one person to drag is Camilla. And my second person I love to drag is Charles. So when Buckingham Palace came out, I cannot help but to laugh. Came out with a set of royal values. I just couldn't resist. I had to say something about it. These two adulterous liars have the nerve to talk values to people, which is such a funny thing to me. I'm telling you, I get the giggles when I think about it. Because when you think of royal and values, to me, that those two things are in stark contrast to each other, especially when you talking about Charles and Camilla and even the rest of that group. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's discuss it real quick. And like I said, this is a pop in, pop out, me being messy. And I couldn't resist. Here we go. It says Buckingham Palace reveals new set of royal values. Buckingham Palace has said it wants to stay curious and help shape a better world as part of King Charles' reign in a set of newly published royal values. And the royal values are, hold on, to act with care. When has Charles ever cared about anybody except himself and that his pen doesn't leak? When has Camilla ever cared about anything except power? I'm just asking because these two people was willing to throw a little teenage boy, newly turned teenage boy, 13-year-old boy, throw him to the wolves in order to clear the path for her and him when they became king and queen. And they did William too. So where was the care in that? I mean, it's so fake. It is laughable. Harry, you can tell Harry is still hurt by his revelation. And he made it in spare. He said that it was a lot of bodies in the street because the path had to be cleared for Camilla. And his father. He didn't say his father, but it was him too. Because after Diana's death, People couldn't stand Charles. They still don't care that much about him. He had to get cancer to keep them from throwing them eggs over his head. So they still don't care that much for him. They just don't throw the eggs anymore because he said he has cancer. So he had to sacrifice. Well, it wasn't a sacrifice for Charles. It was something that he was willing to do because he has no care except for himself. And Camilla has no care except for herself. So, yeah, this one is laughable. Let's go to the second one. It said make an impact. What does these two do to make an impact on anybody? Now, I must say, Charles is charity. What is it? It was the Prince's Trust, and now it's the King's Trust. He wouldn't even give it to William because he knew William would run it into the ground. He just carried it, carried it on. I bet if Harry had stayed, Harry would have got it because he know Harry would have done what he needed to do to continue to make it successful. So yeah, he had the Prince's Trust, and that was good. But he took all that dirty money to make it successful. Took money from the Bin Laden family, just bags of cash, selling titles and selling honors. Where where is the impact in all that? And we all know Camilla has never done anything except hop from bed to bed to make an impact. That's all she ever did. Only impact Camilla has ever made is on her back. So, okay, let's go to the next one. Succeed together. I think them two already succeeded. They king and queen. They plotted and twisted to the point where they finally got the big hats. Who else is supposed to succeed with them? Because I don't see them doing anything to help anybody succeed. They, they did everything that they could to get the big hats. They succeeded. I don't think they meant other people. Let's go on. It says stay curious. That is a joke. I have never saw Charles or nor Camilla act like they was interested in anything that they were doing when they are out in their events. Now they try to fake it, but it's so obvious that they don't care. To the point where Charles has gotten to the point where he can't even hold it anymore. He's throwing tantrum after tantrum after tantrum. He was at church the other day and he was throwing tantrum at the church. That's Charles. Camilla didn't even show up. So, succeed together. And it says stay curious. These are two most intellectually uncurious people that I have ever observed. They don't want to do anything. Camilla has never done a project. I think her only project is with abused women. And what kind of impact has that made? I hadn't saw anything. Everything I've saw her do is to have speeches. I don't see any impact in the community. Has she opened a a battered woman's shelter? Has she? What has she done? What kind of impact has she made? Now, Charles, like I said, with the Prince's Trust, he has made impact, even though he had to do it with dirty money. He absolutely made an impact because is it Araba, whatever his name is, he was saying that he got his start through the Prince's Trust. And so, yeah, he done made some, gains. He really has done some good, but he had to sell some honors for it. He had to. He had to. If you gave him $2 million, he would give you a knighthood in a minute. That's Charles. Let's go on. and it says lead by example. Now, that is the funniest one of them all. These two people are the head of the church, and they're adulterers and they're liars, and they've done nothing but sell their family members down the river in order for good press. That's it. How in the world are you any kind of example to anybody? I saw a segment on Jeremy Vine, and this young pundit, he seemed like he was liberal, and he was saying, how in the world can they be an example to anybody? And people are still salty about how they treated Diana. It's ridiculous. Like I said, when you think of royal and values, in stark contrast with each other. And they said that they're doing this because of all the increase of money versus the decrease of events that they have been going to. And all the travel, they travel went up, I think it was 4.2 million pounds from last year, 3.9 million pounds. And they had less events. They had less overseas trips. And they also say in this article that a lot of it was not the king and his queen. And we all know who left. And they really made an emphasis on that. And they talked about how people are really, really not feeling in the middle of a financial crisis in Great Britain that he is getting an almost 50% raise to run his institution. And people are going to baby banks and food banks. And he is walking around with a crown of millions and millions of pounds of stolen jewels on his head, living in luxury, about to purchase 2 new helicopters to ride up and around and not do any engagements. They are feeling something. The UK public are feeling something. And so, in order to appease them, it says in here that they came up with these values, what they're going to try to adhere to. I think it's a really good trade on Camilla and Charles' end. Because if you can get, what, I think it's like 43 million pounds more, and just give the people some values that you might absolutely try to adhere to, and that's all they get in return, to me, that is grifting at its highest level. I'm trying not to hate the player and hate the game, but it's hard to see how the British public is being shafted by this unroyal family. All right, y'all. I'm going to try to see y'all later. I am working on a really good read, and I'm going to try to get it together probably a little after midnight. All right, y'all. See y'all later. Bye.